Welcome to Blazed and Glazed with the Ganja Gourmet Chef, Bud Smoke. I'm Chef Bud Smoke from thedailydank.com, your culinary guide to the world of gourmet cannabis cuisine. Today, we're going to take your Thanksgiving dinner to an entirely new high. Whether you're hosting your first Danksgiving or you're a seasoned pro looking to impress, we've got you covered. We'll be diving into some dank delights, including Cannabis-Infused herb butter turkey, dank cranberry sauce, infused mashed potatoes, and of course, a high pumpkin pie. And of course, a huge shout out to the Healing Center of Needles for all your cannabis needs. They've got everything to make your Thanksgiving truly unforgettable. So, let's get started on this culinary adventure. Trust me, your taste buds and your guests will thank you. Stay tuned, because the feast is about to get funky. Check out thedailydank.com for even more dank content. All right, let's kick things off with the star of the show, Chef Bud Smoke's Cannabis-Infused herb butter turkey. Get ready to take your turkey to a new high, folks. First, let's talk ingredients. You'll need one whole turkey, about 12 to 14 pounds, and the magic ingredient, half a cup of canna butter. And where should you get this canna butter, you ask? From the Healing Center of Needles, of course. They have everything you need for this culinary experience. And trust me, their canna butter is the bee's knees. All right, on to the step-by-step. Here's how we transform this bird from ordinary to extraordinary. Step 1. Prepping the turkey. Preheat your oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Pat your turkey dry and give it a good rub down with salt and pepper. Think of it as a pre-game massage for the main event. Step 2. Making the magic herb butter. In a bowl, mix that delightful canna butter with 2 tablespoons each of fresh rosemary, thyme, and sage. Rub this heavenly herb butter all over the turkey. And don't forget to get under the skin for max flavor. But remember, folks, you're seasoning the turkey, not yourself. Step 3. Roasting away. Place your buttered up bird in a roasting pan and pop it in the oven. You'll want to roast it according to its weight. That's about 15 minutes per pound. And here's the kicker. Baste that turkey every 30 minutes with those buttery drippings to keep it moist and full of flavor. Step 4. Rest and carve. Once your turkey's done roasting, let it rest for about 20 minutes before carving. This is crucial because it lets the juices redistribute, making every bite succulent and delicious. That's it. Your cannabis-infused herb butter turkey is all set to be the centerpiece of your Danksgiving feast. As always, remind your guests to enjoy responsibly. This isn't your average turkey, and it's got a little extra kick. All right, who's ready for some dank cranberry sauce? That's coming up next, so don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blazed and Glazed with Chef Bud Smoke. Stay tuned. All right, folks, now that we have our turkey all set, it's time to add a little extra chill to your holiday with Chef Bud Smoke's dank cranberry sauce. This side dish will not only complement your turkey, but elevate your whole Danksgiving dinner. First off, let's go over the ingredients. You'll need a 12-ounce bag of fresh cranberries, half a cup of orange juice, half a cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of canna honey, and the zest of 1 orange. And yes, that canna honey is available at the Healing Center of Needles, your one-stop shop for all things green and magical. Now, on to the magic-making process. Step 1. Simmer and stir. In a medium saucepan, combine the cranberries, orange juice, and sugar. Bring this concoction to a gentle simmer, stirring frequently until the cranberries start to pop. It's like nature's little firecrackers going off in your kitchen. Very satisfying. Step 2. Add the magic. Stir in the canna honey and the zest of 1 orange. This is where the real alchemy happens. Let it all cook together for another 5 to 10 minutes until the sauce thickens up nicely. And step 3, serve. Chill your dank cranberry sauce and serve it alongside your cannabis-infused herb butter turkey. The sweet tart flavor will add a delightful zing to your meal that'll have everyone asking for seconds. Remember, folks, even though this dish has chill written all over it, it's still potent. Enjoy responsibly and make sure your guests know what they're diving into. So that's our dank cranberry sauce, a perfect blend of tart, sweet, and herbal bliss. Stay tuned because up next we'll be mashing things up with some infused mashed potatoes that you won't want to miss. You're listening to Blazed and Glazed with Chef Bud Smoke. Be right back after this. All right, folks, welcome back to Blazed and Glazed with Chef Bud Smoke. Now that we've got our turkey and cranberry sauce sorted, it's time to move on to another essential part of any Thanksgiving feast, the mashed potatoes. But not just any mashed potatoes. We're making Chef Bud Smoke's infused mashed potatoes. These creamy, dreamy potatoes have got a secret ingredient that'll make them the talk of your Danksgiving dinner. Let's start with the ingredients rundown. You'll need 4 large russet potatoes, peeled and cubed, and our key player, a 1/4 cup of canna butter. You guessed it. The canna butter from the Healing Center of Needles is what will elevate these taters to new heights. You'll also need 1/2 cup of milk, salt, pepper to taste, and some fresh chives for garnish. All right, on to the step-by-step process. Step 1. Boiling the potatoes. In a large pot, cover your cubed potatoes with water and bring them to a boil. Cook them until they're tender, which should take about 15 to 20 minutes. You know they're done when you can easily pierce them with a fork. Step 2. Mashing with canna butter and milk. Drain the cooked potatoes and return them to the pot. Add that lovely 1/4 cup of canna butter and 1/2 cup of milk. Mash everything together until the potatoes are smooth and creamy. You might even feel a little like a mad scientist in the kitchen, concocting something truly magical. Step 3. Seasoning and garnishing. Add salt and pepper to taste. Give it a good stir and then garnish with some fresh chives. These infused mashed potatoes will look as good as they taste. Now, a word to the wise. These mashed potatoes pack a punch, so portion control is key. You want everyone to enjoy their Danksgiving without going overboard. And there you have it, Chef Bud Smoke's infused mashed potatoes, a creamy and unforgettable side dish for your cannabis-infused Thanksgiving feast. Up next, we're finishing things off on a sweet note with a high pumpkin pie that's sure to be a hit. You're listening to Blazed and Glazed with Chef Bud Smoke. Don't touch that dial unless it's to go to thedailydank.com for all the dankness you are craving. Welcome back to Blazed and Glazed with Chef Bud Smoke. We've roasted, we've mashed, we've sauced, and now it's time for the grand finale, dessert. No Danksgiving feast would be complete without a touch of sweetness to end the night. And today, that sweet highlight is my high pumpkin pie. This pie is going to be the highlight of your meal, trust me. First off, let's go through our ingredient list. You're going to need 1 unbaked 9-inch pie crust, 1 can of pumpkin puree, 1 cup of evaporated milk, 1/2 cup of sugar, and then the magic makers, 2 tablespoons of either canna honey or canna butter. You've got a choice here, folks, and both options are available from our friends at the Healing Center of Needles. You'll also need 2 large eggs, a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, and some whipped cream to top it all off. Okay, let's get into it. Step 1. Mixing the filling. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. In a large bowl, whisk together the pumpkin puree, evaporated milk, sugar, those 2 tablespoons of canna honey or canna butter, the eggs, and all the delicious spices. Whisk until it's all well combined and looking like autumn in a bowl. Step 2. Pouring and baking. Pour your pumpkin filling into the unbaked pie crust. Spread it out evenly and then pop the whole thing into the oven. Let it bake for about 45 to 50 minutes. You'll know it's ready when you can insert a knife in the center and it comes out clean. Your kitchen will smell amazing at this point. It's the scent of Danksgiving dreams. Step 3. Serving. Let your high pumpkin pie cool before slicing. Once it's cool, slice it up and add a nice dollop of whipped cream on top. Remind your guests that this isn't your ordinary pie. It's got a little extra holiday cheer in every bite. And there you have it, folks. Chef Bud Smokes High Pumpkin Pie. The perfect end to your cannabis-infused Thanksgiving feast. Enjoy responsibly and make sure your guests do too. You want everyone to have sweet, memorable moments, not an unexpected nap. Thanks for tuning in to Blazed and Glazed with Chef Bud Smoke. For all the recipes and ingredients mentioned on today's show, check the show notes. Stay lifted and have a Danksgiving to remember. Now, before we wrap up today's delicious Danksgiving feast, I've got a few pro tips for making sure your holiday goes off without a hitch. Because we all know, even the dankest dishes need a little planning and love to really shine. Let's start with dosing responsibly. Look, I love Thanksgiving as much as the next culinary fiend, but we don't want Uncle Larry dozing off face first in the mashed potatoes. When you're preparing your cannabis-infused dishes, make sure those portions are manageable. A little goes a long way, folks. You can always have seconds, but start small to keep everyone comfortably elevated. Next up, label your dishes. You've got your infused mashed potatoes, your herb butter turkey, and that high pumpkin pie. Make sure everyone knows which dishes are elevated and which are just plain delicious. You don't want any surprises, especially with Grandma Carol accidentally getting a bit too jolly. And finally, stock up for the season. For all your cannabis and cooking supplies, remember to check out the Healing Center of Needles. They've got everything you need to make your Thanksgiving magical, from canna butter to canna honey. Whether you're a seasoned pro or new to the game, they've got you covered. So there you have it, folks. Keep these pro tips in mind, and your Thanksgiving is sure to be a hit. Dose responsibly, label your dishes clearly, and stock up on the best supplies. Follow these guidelines, and you're sure to have a memorable, enjoyable holiday. All right, that's it for Chef Bud Smoke's Pro Tips. Stay tuned for the outro coming right up. You're listening to Blazed and Glazed with Chef Bud Smoke. Stay lifted, my friends. Well, that brings us to the end of today's deliciously dank episode of Blazed and Glazed with the Ganja Gourmet Chef, Bud Smoke. We've taken you through a full Thanksgiving feast, featuring mouth-watering cannabis-infused recipes like our stellar herb butter turkey, zingy cranberry sauce, creamy infused mashed potatoes, and of course, the show-stopping high pumpkin pie. As you prepare to lift your Thanksgiving to new highs, remember the key tips. Dose responsibly, label those elevated dishes clearly, and stock up on top-notch cannabis ingredients from our friends at the Healing Center of Needles. We want everyone to have a safe and incredible holiday without any unwanted surprises. Thanks so much for tuning in to Blazed and Glazed with Chef Bud Smoke. It's been a blast cooking with you, and I hope you find these recipes as enjoyable and delicious as I do. From my kitchen to yours, I'm wishing you a Thanksgiving to remember. And don't forget to check the show notes for all the links and details mentioned in today's episode. Stay lifted, stay grateful, and have a high-flying holiday. Catch you next time on Blazed and Glazed with the Ganja Gourmet Chef, Bud Smoke. Peace, love, and happy cooking. And go to thedailydank.com for even more dank content. Stay danked, my friends.